Not gonna lie, regardless of what the thumbnail looks like in this video, I'm just gonna power through this because I don't feel very well right now. But this is the movie we're talking about, so let's do it as quickly as humanly possible. So Last Night in Soho is directed by Edgar Wright, which right there, right out the gate, very intriguing. I'm an Edgar Wright fan, and if for nothing else, you know one of his movies aren't going to be cookie cutter or conventional. The movie actually stars Thomasin McKenzie. I know it'd be easy to say Anya Taylor-Joy, right? Because it doesn't though. Anya Taylor-Joy is a supporting character, or for nothing else, she's the focus of the movie, but not the eyes of the audience. Thomasin McKenzie's character, she plays an up-and-coming and aspiring fashion designer. She's a student to be so. She moves to London, the big city, you know, very exciting, right? Well, she's not really fitting in so much, you know, 'cause she's very old-fashioned. She's enamored by the culture and the music of mid-century, which they did do music better back then. Also, she sees dead people. It's kind of briefly touched on, but that ability, that gift gets its next phase of Pokemon evolution when she moves to London, and when she goes to sleep, she sees and experiences the life of Anya Taylor-Joy's character, who was an aspiring entertainer of the mid-century. And then things get really dark for Anya Taylor-Joy's character, so like I said, not conventional or cookie cutter, but very Edgar Wright does horror, which is a thing I love about this movie. Is it horror? It has horror elements. It's one of these movies, is the reason I miss Blockbuster, because on a streaming service, you can put this movie in 4 different categories, no problem. But if this were the VHS days in Blockbuster, there'd be some poor employee or Blockbuster franchise owners like, where do I put it? Mystery? Thriller? Horror? I don't know. I always appreciate it when a movie makes it difficult to lock its genre in a box. Regardless of whatever genre-breaking, genre aggregate it is, it's undeniably compelling. And I say horror because nothing's more horrifying than reality. It's a very darkly real story. The story of people who prey on the hopes and dreams of young women. It's a very Boulevard of Broken Dreams kind of story, whether it's mid-century London or Hollywood. Now, it's very dark and real shit. Also, Thomasin McKenzie, amazing in the movie. She has to be a person who's sweet and innocent, bold and daring, also horrified when she needs to be, but also needs to be strong enough to get through this story and find out where it leads and end it. Also, Anya Taylor-Joy, very different role for her. At first, you're like, yeah, it's Anya Taylor-Joy looking like perfection, you know, performing, and makes sense. But when things get darker in her life, I guess I just didn't expect that in the movie, the way it was portrayed. But again, Anya Taylor-Joy crushes it. We would expect no different. Also, some of the other standouts in the acting, Terrence Stamp's in the movie. And a lot of times I feel like Terrence Stamp is cast in movies because he's Terrence Stamp. He's kind of like Christopher Walken at this point. It's like all he has to really do is show up. But I thought he did so much more with such little time he had. Again, great that Edgar Wright brought that out, where it's like, okay, you don't have a lot of screen time and you are Terrence Stamp. We could take the easy road, but we're gonna try to do a little more with less, you know? And I was impressed with how much Terrence Stamp brought to the movie. And the late Diana Rigg, you might have remembered her from Game of Thrones. She was Granny Tyrell. I believe this was her last performance before she passed away. So I was surprised to see her. I didn't know she was in the movie. She plays the landlord of Thomasin McKenzie's character. And again, she brings that energy you saw in Game of Thrones. That take no nonsense, no bullshit old lady. She was amazing. Again, not in the movie much, but you definitely remember her when the movie ends. In the end, I was hoping Last Night in Soho was something I would remember from the 2021 movie slate, and it absolutely is. At its baseline, it's a mystery about a girl now trying to find out what happened to this girl from 1960s London. But in its execution, it's done in such a unique manner, with the main character living the life of this girl from 60 years past. This could have been such a cookie cutter movie, a movie that might be going for an Oscar or something, and just came across as messy. It takes a true talent to tell a story that's so big in scope, involving 2 different lives, but not make it feel convoluted and actually make it visually appealing. It's equal parts magnificent, thrilling, horrifying. I love me a good mystery, especially a mystery that transcends its genre. And this absolutely did. It's definitely worth watching. Definitely worth buying on Blu-ray. All right, so Last Night in Soho. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? What's your favorite Edgar Wright movie? He's done a lot of great ones. So I think that's a pretty good question to ask. But whatever it is, whatever you think, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.